into $280. And that third week, you've caught up with the person that starts with the $20 a day budget. So again, you get to the end of week 8, takes you a few more weeks to break that $10,000 mark and to get to that point where you can start making $1,000 a day. So you can see how fast this builds up. You've turned $35 into over $10,000, and this is assuming that you're reinvesting your money and you're getting 100% ROI. In 8 weeks, you've turned $5 a day into over $1,000 a day. Let's look at a bigger budget. Let's say you're doing $50 a day. Let's say you're not so limited on your budget. That's $350 a week. And you can see how quickly this goes up. And by the end of week 6, we're at $22,000 and we're actually on up to spending $3,000 a day. So this can build really quickly. So this is just so you understand how it works when you're spending money to make money and you're using a proven system where you can get ROI daily. Okay, so let's jump into this. I hear something in the background.
Yeah, sorry. I just getting a few people asking, what does ROI mean, and what am I investing money into? And I'll just quickly answer that for you guys. ROI means return on investment. So if and I'll answer both questions in one. If you were to spend, let's say for instance, there was an affiliate program for a dog training product, and let's say you were to advertise to dog lovers. Let's say it costed you $5,000 for your $5 for your ad to reach, say, 100 people. And let's say for every 100 people you reached, you made $10 back. So for every $5 you spent, maybe one person buys that dog training product for every $5 you spend, so you get $10 back. Okay, so that's 100% ROI because you've made $10 on your $5. So that's what it means. I'll let you guys get back into it. And yeah, that was just a quick explanation to answer those questions.
Actually, I'm glad you hopped in and said that. Maybe a more simple example would be something from the physical world for people who don't do affiliate marketing. Let's say that you buy a house for $100,000 and then you flip it for $150,000. That would be 50% ROI. If you flipped it for $200,000, that would be 100% ROI. So your investment, the money you spent, the ROI is the money that you make back. So let's jump into Gary's simple 3-step profit engine funnel. I know everybody wants to see exactly what's involved, and it's almost unbelievably simple. As we've said, there's only 3 simple steps, and it's responsible for making Gary the #1 affiliate on ClickBank several times, making upwards of $100,000 per week, and so many of our students making their first $1 online, their first $100 day, their first $1,000 day, and more, as you've seen. And all of that is from these 3 simple steps. So here it is. And that's it. That's the entire profit engine funnel right there. So anyway, that's the training, guys. We're going to take off. No, I'm just kidding.
We're done.
Anyway, so you don't need a product. You're promoting someone else's product. What we've got here, there's 3 steps. We've got the ad, the pre-sale, and the offer. And we're going to go into each of these. So the third step is an affiliate offer. It's basically a product that you're promoting. You're selling someone else's product. You don't need your own product. So you don't need to build an email list or anything like that. You don't need any inventory. You don't need an online store, nothing. You're literally just directing traffic online to somebody else's product, and then they take care of everything else from there, and you get paid a commission. Okay, now we're going to get into exactly what you have to do to make it work. There's some important things, but that's the general overview. So before we go on, does everybody at least understand that? And I see a few questions about how to direct traffic, and yeah, some people actually did ask about collecting emails, and no, we don't collect emails. All right, lots and lots of yeses flying. It sounds like people pretty much understand, so that's cool. Sounds like people can wrap their mind around the system so far. So let's run through this because most people out there screw these things up if they're trying to do affiliate marketing. So Gary's going to explain the psychology behind each of these and how you need to approach these in order to make this work and have big success.
Okay, yeah. So from the ad, the essential purpose here is just to get someone from the social setting. Let's take Facebook, for example. We don't just do Facebook, by the way. We do other types of ads as well. but we're just going to talk about Facebook for this example today. So with Facebook, everybody is in a social mindset. And when you're on Facebook, you're just there to talk with your friends and family, right? You're not there to buy things. You go to Facebook and Instagram just to socialize. In fact, the ads that you see usually that are obviously selling stuff, you just kind of ignore those. At least I do anyway. I think most people do. But the whole purpose of that ad is just to get the click. And we have very special ways of doing that very successfully, which we'll get into in just a bit. Anyway, that's kind of the purpose of the ad. It's not to sell. It's just to get the click and then take them to the pre-sale page. Okay? So now you may be wondering like what a pre-sale page is. Well, it's pretty simple. It's just an intermediate page that they see before they click over to the product page that you're promoting, and that's all it is. But what people don't realize is that the pre-sale page is very, very essential because if you're not already sending traffic to a pre-sale page versus directly sending them to the offer, you're probably, in fact, failing. You're probably like, screw this, I'm not making any money, this is ridiculous. You can't make this work, so I'm out of here, screw this. Now, I didn't realize this at first. When I first got started, I guess I didn't really realize that the pre-sale page was so vital to the process. But the pre-sale page is important because you're going to take somebody from a social setting and you're going to entice that person to click through. So that's step number one. That's pretty easy to do. And, you're going to have a relevant pre-sale page that is going to subtly shift their mind from thinking socially to thinking, about this big burning problem that they have that we introduce them to in the ad. And so this is your opportunity to take about 60 seconds of their attention to transition them and slowly ease their mind away from this social mindset and slowly transition them into thinking about their big burning problem. And then you're going to click them through to the offer page. Now, if the pre-sale page did its job right, then they're going to be in full-on like solve my problem mode or what I like to call buy mode, right? And without that pre-sale page, it's like you just screw everything up. You go too quickly and it was just too abrupt and they're not going to buy anything. So that whole process is vital. So if you don't have that process in place, if you spend the time to transition their mindset, you make so much more money.
Yeah, and I think this is going to become even more clear as we begin going through the keys to success. So that should just give people just a general idea of kind of the architecture of how the profit engine funnel works and the different components. And as we start going through the keys to success, it's going to become clearer and clearer what sort of turns up the dial and what the important things are that are going to shoot your results up. Because right now it probably seems simple. It might seem a little confusing for some people, but there's only 3 steps, right? And you say, okay, I see the steps, I see the components, but I don't understand how to get from being a beginner to making this work, and we're going to jump into that. So the first key to success, the key to unleashing your potential, lies in an elephant's butt. No, I'm just kidding. Just seeing if you guys are awake. So, but this is about elephants. So what's interesting is elephants are actually the strongest animal on the earth, walking the earth. I think they can lift I think it's 16,000 pounds. But there's an example where when they're held in captivity, they're chained up for the time that they're little babies, and they learn over time not to stray from that chain. And what happens, and this is real barbaric, it happens in the circus and stuff like that. What happens is by the time they're adults, it's just been like forced on them for so long that all it takes to hold them now is this tiny little thread, when in reality this is the strongest animal on the planet that could lift up a bus, but it's held captive by this tiny little thread. And the idea is that this is a limiting belief, right? And the same thing happens to us in our lives, okay? Whether it's your schooling or your job or even your friends and family, the way that you were raised, your education, the stuff, it drives you into these limiting beliefs. And if you can overcome these limiting beliefs, that's the key to having these huge, huge successes online. And these are the things that we have to overcome. These are the things that our students all had to overcome when they were starting out. So we wanted to hit on this topic first because believe it or not, it's not the tech stuff that stops people. The tech stuff can be learned very quickly. It's simple, straightforward. It's the limiting mindsets. It's your own inner demons that you have to fight. So the first thing is to overcome your limiting beliefs. The second thing, success key number 2, how to crack into the Walter White money. And we're going to show you right now how to tap into a motherload of traffic that most people ignore out there. Most marketers, they think it's too hard. They think it's untouchable, when in reality, this is, in our opinion, the best source of traffic out there, and it's right in front of your eyes. So the key is to target the big niches and not the small niches.
That's right. Yes. So, when I first got started, I remember I kind of jumped in with on Facebook first, and I was with a handful of guys, about 3 or 4 guys. We were all running traffic together, and we were kind of sharing our ads with each other, sharing our pre-sale and all the things that we were learning. We just had this little network. And, when we first got started, we started going after these really small niches. And I believe, we were just programmed early on to believe, that we needed to target small niches because the bigger niches were too competitive. And the bigger niches are made up by these guys that have these really deep pockets, maybe they're large corporations or something, and there's no way that we could compete with them. But what we found, to our surprise, was that wasn't the case. Ironically, when we jumped into bigger and bigger niches, we found that it was actually quite easy to dominate these big niches. And the big niches, by the way, are health, wealth, and relationships. These are the kinds of niches that basically every single person on the planet, it's like a deep-seated need that we all have to overcome, our health issues, to make more money, and to have stronger, better relationships, so that we can find happiness in our lives. And so we dominated those big niches, and it was just really kind of mind-blowing what we were able to achieve there. I look at it sort of like the elephant thing. For me, it's exactly what I went through with my friends there, because I remember I started, when I first got in there, a couple of my friends were in there before me doing this, and they were spending like $300, $400, $500 a day running ads. When I got in there, I was a little more aggressive, and I am a little bit more aggressive of a marketer than most people. So when I got in there, I kind of put the pedal to the metal, and I started spending, I think, a couple $1,000s a day pretty quickly, and I was still able to do like these 300, 400% ROI. So if I was spending $1,000, I would be making like $4,000 a day. And my friends looked at me and they were like, dude, you should slow down. You might get your ad account shut down. Even back then, people were worried about this. But I was like, okay, but I'm just going to do it anyway. So I started running heavy, and next thing I know, within a week, I was up to doing like $4,000 or $5,000 a day. My friends were like, wow, that's amazing. So they started doing it too. And it was like I could see that little thread around their ankles, snapping. Then I went on and I did, I started doing, $3,000 or $4,000 a day and doing 300% ROI and making $10,000 a day. And again, they were like, oh man, that little thread around their ankle snapped again. And these limiting beliefs, they just kind of let go of them. One of my friends, actually, he started, he kind of broke the thread around my ankle for me, and he started doing like $20,000 a day. And so, that's the point, though, is it's a great analogy. I love that analogy about the elephant. because it just so well, explains my own experiences that I went through.
Yeah. So the key here is targeting big niches and not small niches, and this ties back into the limiting beliefs. When you're targeting the big niches, you can target the massive traffic sources. So, for example, if we're targeting women's weight loss, who here knows a woman that wants to lose weight? It's like you can target almost everybody. So when we're targeting our audiences, it's like women 35 and up versus someone else that's targeting some very specific niche. They have a little tiny audience. So we have a source of nearly unlimited traffic, and the key is knowing how to compete, and we've figured that out. So we're going to go into how to do that. So that's a big aha moment, big turning point for Gary, and we've translated that into a really simple system for our students to scale up big traffic. So let's jump into the next secret. Success key number 3 is don't do the heavy lifting yourself. Okay, and I've got a shot of The Godfather here because of the idea of making an offer that you can't refuse. Okay, so the right offer out there will sell itself. We don't do any of the selling. We only target offers where when we promote it and we send the traffic over to their page, we send it over to our affiliate link, their offer sells that traffic and turns it into money. We don't want to sell anything. We want to just leave it to the offer. So we only promote the Olympic level, top of the world in the world offers that sell better than anything else out there. And there's another point, actually.
Well, that's something that I think most people just don't realize is that, the vendor is just as important as the offer. I don't always look for just what offer is at the top of ClickBank. I'm actually studying the vendor, and I ask the vendor questions. It's really important to me to make sure that I work with a vendor who understands and whose sole purpose is to make me rich. Because if they have that mindset, if that's a really good vendor, they're going to realize that yes, if I make my top super affiliates rich, then they're going to be loyal. They're going to become loyal to me, and they're going to promote my offer forever. So when I usually, most people, when you get started out running an offer, they're probably getting making a 50% commission or something like that.
Yeah. So when the vendors, they make all of their money on the back end. They don't make their money on the front end. This is what people usually screw up. So actually, yeah. So yeah, most people make a 50% commission while we're making up to 100% commission. And the reason that they can afford to do that is because they know their numbers, and once they have a customer, they sell them more stuff on the back end, where the average vendor doesn't have the resources to do that. I mean, they haven't run the business, and they're not at this advanced level that these vendors are. And the vendors that we target are the ones who understand that they want to give as much money as possible to us, and they want to make our lives as simple as possible. We have a few more insights on this, but we're getting short on time, so we'll get into those in just a minute. But let's jump into success key number 4, which is don't pay full price. So we know how to get severely discounted clicks. Okay, we pay much less money than our competition, and we do it without getting trampled in Black Friday, like these people in the front here trying to get a cheap flat screen TV. So let's walk through an example of how this works. So the key to cheap clicks is high click-through rate ads. Okay, so take a look at this photo, this screenshot here. We've got 108,000 clicks. We've got 42,000 clicks. And if you look over on the right, we got a bunch of traffic, and you can see the cost. We got 13 cents a click, 11 cents a click, 8 cents a click, where most people out there are paying 50 cents a click, 60 cents, $1 a click, $2 a click. If you don't have any experience on paid ads, on Google ads or Facebook ads or anything, let me just tell you, these are dirt cheap clicks, okay? And let me explain to you how it works. So in example number one, we're going to take a big budget advertiser, the big guy out there that's the elephant in the room that you're competing against. And on the example number two, a profit engine student, somebody who understands the stuff that we're showing you right now and that we're going to show you over this training session. So big budget advertiser, they bid $1 per click. Let's say that we bid 20 cents per click. Ad networks work on an auction system. So you bid how much you're willing to spend per click, and then the website decides who gets the click. So if you were to guess, who would you think gets the click? Yeah, obviously the guy who's bidding $1 per click. We're going to lose in this example, right? Well, not necessarily. So what websites have to sell is views. So they have people on their website. They want to make money off that. So if there's 1,000 people looking at their website, they want to make as much money as they can off those 1,000 people. So the average click-through rate on an ad, like somebody sees an ad on, for example, on their Facebook news feed, as you're scrolling, you see an ad. The average click-through rate out there is about 0.5%. So we understand how to get really high click-through rates. So let's take an example of a student who's getting a 5% click-through rate, and let's compare these and see what happens. So in the big budget advertisers example, we do the math. That's 5 clicks out of 1,000 views. In our example, out of 1,000 views at a 5% click-through rate, that's 50 clicks. Okay, that's 10 times as many clicks. So why does that matter? Well, look at how much money the website's going to make. So those 5 clicks times $1 per click, the website makes $5. The 50 clicks times 20 cents a click, the website makes $10. So the website makes double. They make 2 times more money by giving us 20-cent clicks rather than giving the big budget advertiser dollar clicks. Does that make sense? Is that... Give me some feedback. Type in the question box. Is that okay? Cool. Lots of yeses. Okay, cool. So this is how we turn the tables in our favor. So that leads us to success key number 5, which is the big daddy secret of them all. How do we get the high click-through rates? On the CTR is the click-through rate. How do we get the high click-through rates on our ads that you see here? And you'll notice I've got the same screen. In our example, I showed 5%, but look, we're getting 8.6%. We're getting 7%.
Hey, I'll just answer a quick question that got asked a few times. How do you get them to even try your ad out at the lower click-through rate? A large advertising network will always try your ad out, even if they only send you 100 clicks. Like, they'll try it out, but they've got hundreds of thousands, millions of clicks. So if your click-through rate is good, they'll deliver it way more often. That's the key, okay? So how do you get your ad selected? Your ad will get selected. They'll test your ad. It's just a matter of, will they scale your ad and show it to a way more people?
Exactly. That's exactly right. So they're going to put your ad out there, see how it performs, let their algorithm decide whose ad is going to get shown. And we just know how the algorithm works, and they end up showing ours. So you're looking at the screen there. In our example, we were at 5%, and you saw the advantage that we had. Imagine if you're getting 18%. And these aren't like little tiny amounts of traffic. This is 13 cents a click, and we've got 42,000 clicks on this campaign. We've got one down here, 8 cents a click, 37,000 clicks. So these are large numbers of clicks. And remember, we're wanting to turn it into 100% ROI. So every time we're spending 8 cents, we're making 8 cents. We typically make more. We'll make 300 or 400% ROI. So remember that. So the key, how we do this, we've dropped a few hints, but we kind of glossed over it. Maybe some of you remember. Can anybody guess? Let me see if anybody guesses.
I don't think anybody's going to get it.
Hey,
somebody did.
Hey, we got
All
a bright
okay.
crowd. Okay, a few people guessed it. So the key to high CTR ads is ugly images. Now, wait a second. It's not just any ugly image, okay? You need a very specific type of ugly image. We say this and we see people go out there and they just make really ugly images and they fail. Okay, it's a very specific type of image that we've discovered after testing tons and tons of ads and spending millions of dollars. We've dialed it in. So here's the thing, though. You don't need to be a designer. You don't even need to own any image software. You don't need to have a single creative bone in your body. It doesn't matter if you can draw. It doesn't matter if you can, if you're a good artist, or even if you're good at recognizing good art. You can literally just pay people $5 to create money-producing images for you when you know how to properly instruct them, okay? So all of these steps, all of these secrets are building on each other. So let's review a few of these. You've got your broad audience. Okay, you want to target a broad audience, like say, women 35 and up. So you could target them with a weight loss product, or health, wealth, and relationships, the big ones. By targeting a broad audience, it allows you to scale up big. Okay, you don't run out of traffic. You want a high click-through rate image and ad. That allows you to get cheaper clicks than the competition, like the example I showed you. You might be paying 20 cents and they're paying $1 if you're getting a 5% click-through rate. And you've seen when we're getting 15% how cheap the clicks are. You need a proven pre-sale page that takes those clicks and it gradually transitions them from that social mindset into the buyer's mindset, turns them into buyer traffic, and then you want to send that buyer traffic into a high converting offer that just sells like hotcakes, and you don't need to sell it. The vendor, their sales process on their website that sells their product, it does all the sales for you, and it turns your traffic into cash. So the bottom line is, if you've got the right audience, the right ad, the right pre-sale page, and the right offer, you have success, right? And it all hinges on the images. It all comes down. We've shown you how the other stuff is very simple and straightforward. It really just comes down to getting those images and understanding all the formulas. So, all right. So if it's so easy, why isn't everyone doing it? Look at this formula: ad, audience, pre-sale, offer. Simple. Why isn't everybody doing it? Why isn't everybody just multimillionaires like our mentors? Well, there's 5 roadblocks that separate regular affiliates from super affiliates, and from perhaps the affiliates that struggle and maybe even fail and quit, to the affiliates that go on to become, the top people on ClickBank and top super affiliates in the world, like many of our students. We're going to run through those roadblocks to show you the pitfalls that you need to avoid if you want to have this kind of success. So roadblock number 1 is simply screwing up the formula. Most people focus on the wrong things. They look at the wrong metrics, and we understand the metrics that we're supposed to be looking at. This is it. The success formula is simple. It's low CPC plus high EPC equals profit. Okay, and I'll explain what each of these are. CPC is your clicks, the cost per click. It's how much you're paying for a click. Okay, you saw that we got lower cost per click by getting our high click-through rates, okay? So you want to buy low and sell high. EPC is how much you earn per click. So you got your cost, and then you got your earnings. So how much you spend and how much you make. Okay, so if you get low costs and high earnings, then you get high profit. Buy low, sell high. Remember, I told you to remember that. Buy low, sell high. So let's see what goes wrong. So problem number 1 is, instead of buying low, you're buying high. So you're spending too much money per click. And that's what these big advertisers are doing. They got huge budgets, so they don't care. They've got, they make a little bit of money per ad. We want to make a lot of money per ad. We want to spend a little bit of money on our clicks. So some of the things